just try and pop a bug bite.
I thought I could get rid of it.
That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
Is there another tripod here? There's someone on there. Talk to them. Oh, there's 3 people. Say hello.
Hey guys.
Keep going. We're setting everything up, says Andrew.
No, I don't do this. Don't talk to me. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll fill in
Get
for Luke.
your fucking shit together. Where is the fucking
All
phone
right,
tripod? Here, I'm just gonna put this. We'll just put this on me. Or what do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm good with that.
You good with that? That's just easier. Do I look like fucking shit from here? Oh no, it looks kind of cool. Hey, there's some people on. What's up, everybody? We'll keep it
Well, let's
going.
keep them entertained. Let's talk about what we were just talking about then.
What were we talking about?
About our sometimes productive, sometimes unproductive drinking. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative drinking.
100%.
My 2 different modes. The one time I'm drinking to like avoid feeling uncomfortable in situations that I'm not usually in, and then the other time is like I'm just with people that I love being with, having a good time, looking to enhance, already positive emotions that I'm feeling.
Amazing. And then this cup just makes it so much more believable. Just
I do like the set of mugs. It's pretty sick.
They're fucking awesome. All right, we're starting this thing off in 5 minutes or so. We're waiting for the last guy. And here's my cup. It's a deer. People's attention span is just so low now that if you don't like fucking constantly do interesting shit.
Dude, you're talking shit on them. I can hear you.
Well, no, it's not. It's just the world we live in. What is can you check what this green fucking dot means?
You asking me?
Yes.
No, I can't.
All right, I'm going to look it up. How to stop. What's this thing called? Road sound board, maybe? Soundboard.
I absolutely cannot do that.
Where's
I'm
Miller
appalled
at?
that you asked.
Where's Miller at? Hello?
He just
parked.
Walking over now.
Okay. Here, I think we can maybe test this sound thing out. Right now.
You want me to talk into?
Yeah.
I thought you meant in here.
No, talk to that.
Oh. All right. Keep you people entertained. Someone asked me a fucking question. God damn it. What the hell? This is why I don't do lives.
All right, I'm gonna go let Miller in.
All right.
Shaking in his boots. Luke is the G. What's up, Craig?
Craig, you obviously don't know him that well.
We know each other well. Craig, what are you filming? We are filming I'll let Jaeger take that. He's uncomfortable, so he needs the questions.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, actually, we're filming nothing. We are doing this podcast, trying to do them bi-weekly, just kind of having a good time. Me and Luke started like a year ago without an agenda, linked up with our friend Alex, and that sort of gave us our agenda. He's the organized one.
I'm going to go get him.
All right, do your thing. So, yeah. So, started this a year ago. I guess you could say the purpose of it was just, Luke and I, with our first business that we ran together, we did a lot of traveling around and talking to, mostly talking to kids about just what they wanted out of their lives. And, we realized pretty quickly that the people that got the most out of those conversations usually tended to be us. For me personally, I can say it was super beneficial to go around and just have meaningful conversations about things that people cared about with thoughtful people. So now Luke is doing his e-com business, internet marketing type stuff. The fitness company. and then I'm in real estate. Both of us kind of at the same time had this, I guess, impulse or this realization that we missed having those conversations. So we figured that we could birth this podcast as an opportunity to just start having those meaningful conversations again. And that happened about a year ago. We probably filmed like 9 or 10 different, I guess you could call them, episodes. And it was really just Luke and I getting together. We would set up in the studio here. So we set this up like a year ago, with all these different contraptions. And there's something about just sitting down, you put the headphones on. I do like 1 to 5 unit stuff, multifamily development and redevelopment, all value add real estate plays. And, we're looking to scale that up. So right now we've just been focused on building our foundation. We have acquisitions in-house, so we have a whole marketing system. And then we have construction in-house. We have our own GC license, and we have real estate sales in-house. So pretty much the entire process, we have in-house. We've just been building that sturdy foundation, and now that we have that, we're looking to go vertical, looking to scale it up. So the next project we're marketing for right now, we're doing a little bit in Florida, looking for kind of a lifestyle investment. Right now we're off Philadelphia. And in addition to the Florida real estate, we're looking to do something in the, I would say 5 to 15 unit range of, either a development or a redevelopment, something where we can go in, take an existing structure, renovate each individual unit, add more units, add more density, and increase the value. We always use other people's money.
We're in.
We're coming in hot, bro. I like it.
How are we doing?
No,
You're sweating a little bit.
dude, I just showered after the soccer game. I was like sprinting. It's all right, dude. It's humid. It's humid as shit out there.
Is it?
We always use.
Oh no, not in here. I'm saying like outside.
So we'll raise equity and we'll raise some debt. Our debt usually comes from banks or private money, and then the equity comes from like individuals like Luke or Alex that are just doing well with their own thing, and they'll invest in a project and they'll take a piece of it. Usually we'll give anywhere from like a 40 to 80% equity position in the project, and then a 6 to 9% preferred return, just depending on the specifics of the project. And that way he can get involved in a value add real estate deal, where for me it's my full-time thing. I literally came directly from an appointment, so I'm working almost every day. And for him, he can get involved with someone where it's his full-time thing, or rather it's my full-time thing, make sure that we can get the best value add deals out there, get the most bang for his buck, but not have to actually put in that 24/7 work that it takes to get a property like that.
All right, ready?
Yeah, I got a new question. Sorry, dude. These people want me now, not you.
All right, let's run.
Ready? Oh yeah, mortgage rates are definitely going up. But we actually plan to talk about the real estate market today.
Why, you need one?
No. I was saying which mic you wanted.
I'm 5 years into the real estate game, but I go to a lot of different
test. Yeah.
A lot of different meetups, talk to people that are a lot smarter than me, watch a lot of videos from people that are smarter than me. Keep my finger on the pulse of the Philadelphia market specifically. So I'll probably be mainly talking about the Philadelphia market, but happy to get into that when we have that segment here.
There is something.
Do we have a name of the podcast?
Podcast.
It's called podcast.
Guys being guys.
Yeah.
Something
guys
profound.
Guys being dudes.
Something profound. Where the fuck? All right, yeah, we're just gonna have to let that thing rip either right here or I don't know. Can this happen? Is this possible?
You want like something to drink? You want like water or something?
You guys have more coffee or no?
Yeah, I can get you coffee.
Can you get me coffee?
Yeah.
I just asked if you want coffee.
I know.
Yeah. He knows you're a fucking dick. You see the way that I asked him, my tone was nice, and I was inviting, and I made him feel
Don't be
comfortable.
so fucking sensitive. No, I'm just kidding.
Can you help me with this again, Luke? What do you need? Just make it tighter. Oh, okay.
Which part?
Oh. See, it kind of like lags.
There you go.
Yeah, it's good.
And we can move this this forward. Good.
Yeah.
Nikki Stott joined. Brain juice. What should I be aware of when it comes to mortgage rates and Fannie Fred? What's the name of the
I mean, mortgage rates are still historically low right now. They're like
the burnt pineapple. Crush it, guys. We will.
Ours?
Ours is in here.
Love you,
Say
ours.
hi to ours.
My fucking boy.
And Nikki's in here.
Hey, Nikki. Shane, you couldn't come out last night. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah. See. Oh my my mom.
No.
Samantha
Sam?
Kish.
Hey, Sam. Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Super Saiyan. What's up, Mom? How you doing?
Tell her I'm coming for her potato. She knows what that means.
Yeggs, did you have to make a new pot of coffee for me?
Yeah.
Oh, did you have to? I don't
That
want.
was a Keurig thing.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't want you to have to. I don't want you working too hard.
Well, we're gonna put this right here. Unfortunately, I can't find my stand, so I can have it on everyone. But if you want to see everyone, just go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and type in Luke Kish, because that's the way to go. And yeah, here we are.
Let's get it.
Here we are. Here, can you press the board and put that screen up where it says like Luke and.
I'm all right up lower.
All right. Here you go, Miller. You got the woman cat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do I make this white?
I think just type it at the top left there, and then just find the one you did last time.
We're closing this door, right?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. I guess maybe it's just that one, huh? The one that we're already on, play. And then the settings in the bottom left. No, settings, right above it. There you go, and then white. There we go. All right, everyone, welcome to the last 15 minutes. Appreciate you waiting with us. Pause to poor connection. All right, I'm just gonna put this here because I can't find the fucking thing. All right, mic check. 1 2 1 2. And we're live. And we are live. Welcome to the show. Alex Miller, take control.
So, Yeggs, you want to start with real? Like, I know you did a great job. Sorry, everyone. I had a soccer game and it took me a little bit longer to get here. Do you want to start with real estate, or do you want to, like, now that you got them coming back, do we want to do?
I have an idea.
Yeah, tell me.
No, I'm gonna tape the phone to the fucking pod.
Oh, yeah, careful. A lot of drinks here.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to.
You want to start with real estate? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, shit, it's always on my mind, so I'm happy to talk about it.
Dude, it's funny. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say right now, I think it's a hot topic, just with, you look at what's happening with interest rates.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to know, what. Oh, God. Everyone wants to know what's going to happen and how it's going to specifically impact them, and I think that. I think I could definitely bring a little clarity, but the true answer is no one knows. Yeah.
Does sideways work for one of this? Or is this just gonna fuck everyone up?
Enjoy the view while you got it.
This is how you get it done.
Dude, seriously?
Do you have a better idea?
No, I don't.
Dude, yeah, your arm's coming in perfect in 1080p. Like,
I'm about to have a new tattoo right here this time next week.
All right, that worked, huh? Nice. iPad's there. All right, we're good. If you want the better audio, go to YouTube. YouTube's got better audio.
so the way I was thinking we could start with real estate. Yeah. So yeah, for you, obviously it's part of your day-to-day business. I think for Luke and I,
Wow, look how much better the lighting is now that we have the blinds.
dude, it's so much better. It's like, looks very professional.
Fucking A.
Like, yeah, for you, I mean, I'm actually curious to hear too.
You're good. Yeah, you're good. I keep going. I'm just working on tightening this. Nice. Nice.
So I think, like, for me and Luke, I was thinking it would be helpful for us to go through each of us, like, what is our current personal situation in real estate? And I think too, when we have a conversation about the stock market, it's like, it's cool to sort of ideate on like, hey, I would buy Amazon, but like, tell me what your book is actually like. Tell me how it actually impacts you, how you have skin in the game, because I think that's much more valuable to listeners. So like, maybe to start, Jaeger, people know you work in real estate, I guess. What are you seeing in your current business? And then also personally, are you thinking about buying, like I think you rent right now, right?
Yeah.
Is that maybe to set the backdrop, and then Luke, you and I can go next. Like, I think Luke and I both rent, but maybe how we think about maybe buying a property. So
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I rent where I live. For me right now, I'm going to continue doing that. The only way I would ever not rent where I live is if I find a deal where I want to live in the city with parking that is enough of a value add where I don't have to leave money into the equity. Where when I refinance, you know, let's say I'm into it for 75 to 80% of the value. You know, let's say it's a $500,000 house. I'm into it for 400. So I buy it for 250. You know, and I put in $100,000 and $50,000 in fees and all the other bullshit. I'm into it for 400, so that when I refinance, I pull out 80%. So I have a mortgage now for 400, and I have $100,000 in equity, but I didn't leave any of my own cash in. Reason being is just because that cash tends to, like for our business, if I invest $50,000, it's like it tends to be around 100% return. So like annually. So if I am let's say I'm putting $50,000 down, I put 10% down on a $500,000 house, and I'm putting $50,000 down. I'm costing myself $50,000 a year. So if I look at how much I'm spending in rent, it just doesn't make. I'm not spending that much in rent. So for me to buy something doesn't make sense. I would rather that money be buying real estate in the company.
okay, one more before we go to macro picture, and then I think Luke and I want us to give our personal situations too. But so Yags, when you have a new real estate project, how much of that money that goes in is investor, and how much of it is you and your partner?
Everyone's so different. Every deal
is different.
Yeah.
But it's fair to say that like a lot of times you are putting meaningful skin in the game of your own money to.
Yeah, and well, so we use a lot of our money too for operational expenses.
Yeah.
So like a good example of that would be, when we raise debt from a bank, for construction debt.
Yeah.
They pay us for construction work that's already done. So they're paying us on a reimbursement basis. So let's say that we're going to build a 4-unit building and it's going to cost us $500,000. Then we have to front money to do the work. Let's say we front $100,000 to do the first 20% of the work on the property. Then the bank will come out and inspect whatever work is done and reimburse us for that $100,000. So we need to have funds available to front that across multiple jobs. You know, right now we have 26 units across 9 jobs that are under construction. So we need to have a really good idea of the inflow and outflow of all of the cash, that we have our money to be able to front across all 9 jobs essentially until the bank can pay us back. And then understanding the flows of that money. So property A over here, we're fronting $40,000. We want to take a draw at $60,000, and over here, you know, we just got to draw back. So we spend another $20 here. We order the inspection from the bank, knowing that this 60 is going to come, and then knowing exactly where that 60 is going to go back out to, basically.
Got it.
So we use a lot of our money for that, and then depending on the structure of the deals. Right now, we're doing a lot of joint venture deals. So it's really, really simple. We're the operators in the deal. We find the deal. We design it. We build it. We fill it with tenants. We manage it. You, as the investor, are just responsible for money.
Got it.
So in a deal like that, we will still use our money to front for construction draws, but the equity position would be our investor. And sometimes we'll take anywhere from like 5 to 20% of the equity position, but sometimes also we'll have zero, and our skin in the game is the construction side.
Got it. Luke, for you, just at a high level, like, have you thought about buying, right? You rent right now, nice apartment, state-of-the-art fixtures and everything, but have you thought about buying, like, with the market being crazy, was just on hold? Is that just not a priority for you right now? It's just easier to rent right now? Like, how do you think about it?
So now it's like a consideration. Buying to live, though, I don't think makes a lot of sense for most people.
Yeah.
And at least for me, I'm constantly wanting more stuff. So it's like buying what I want right now will be something that I don't want very soon. And then like, for me, I find just more flexibility in renting. So yeah, that's my stance on it. I think the first house that I might buy something for myself as like a bridge, but also at a higher income level. Whereas like, I think a lot of people like, they're like, I need to just buy a house because everyone goes and buys houses. And then they're like, yeah, I own a $500,000 house. It's like, no, you have $400,000 in debt.
Yeah.
And like, you now are stuck having to pay for that house, which I think is not a good play because it just kills a lot of your flexibility to go do different things, take risks, stuff like that. There's just more weight on risk. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I am, though, right now, keeping my eyes open everywhere. So if there's like a bunch of opportunity in real estate, I could see myself doing it, but more so as an investment, like, buy rentals or something, not necessarily for me to live.
I like what you both said. So Luke, what I heard from you is like flexibility. You're not tied down to one spot. If something breaks, fine. You're not, you don't have to sink $50,000 in.
Well, just say this, say I go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Right. And I need to start all over again.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not tied to this big thing of debt, right? That I have to float while I'm refiguring myself out, which I think is the case for a lot of people. Like if you're 20 to 30 years old and you want to go change a career, right? Like what if you have a job, you don't like it and you need to not make money for 2 years? Now that's a lot harder because you have this debt that you own in a house.
Got it. Maybe
the only, I guess, pushback I'd say on that is like for a lot of people, I think it can be really beneficial for their first one. If they have some sort of situation where, you could get a loan at 3% down, $500,000 house, you're coming out of pocket $15,000 with other closing costs and stuff. Let's call it like $20,000 that you're coming out of pocket. Or even let's say 25 in that scenario. So you're out of pocket for $25,000, and then you have $485,000 in debt on the property. I would just look at it at that point as an investment from day one, and you say, if I was renting this out to someone, what would they pay for it? Because then at that point, if let's say your mortgage on something like that would be like $2,000 a month.
Yeah, but that's how you think of real estate.
What do you mean?
You do real estate as a business.
I'm saying if you had to move out.
I'm talking about the average Joe.
Yeah, but if that person had to move out
house,
and they have debt at $2,000 a month,
yeah,
and they need that flexibility, then they could still rent it out, have the flexibility, they could leave, and they rent it out for $3,000 a month, and now after taxes and insurance, they're probably going to net like $700 a month. So they're paying off their mortgage, they're building into their equity. If there's any appreciation, they take advantage of that. They write off money on their taxes, and they're making $700 a month. And then they're out of pocket for like $25,000, potentially $700 a month.
There's both arguments. I see both of the arguments. I think over the next 3 years, potentially, like that's not the case.
Well, I think that the market in the future, there's going to be a point where
a lot of people bought houses over the last 2 years that shouldn't have. And I think over the next few years, we'll be in positions where they're like, ooh, I was a lot richer.
I agree with you.
When I bought that house.
Looking at it when you buy it the first time, if you
and I bought it at a price where I don't know if I can rent it for more than what my mortgage is.
Well, the I don't know is the problem, is my point. So like have that figured out first, right? Where you're like, oh, what could I rent it for?
Yeah.
So but that's your
and that's
fallback,
where
right?
You're a little different. Nobody who's doing a fucking first time housing thing like HOA loan or not HOA loan, what is it? FHA loan, understands, like when Nikki was looking at that property the other day, it's the first property.
Yeah.
You don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have a friend that's fucking burnt their ass a few times and then can, you know, put the shit through spreadsheets and be like, it's not a good deal, or that is a good deal.
No,
Most
for sure.
people are like, I need a house. And
But
that's it.
For sure.
It's like, I need a house. Everyone's buying one. I should buy
advice,
one.
I guess, to like people that are doing that and say, hey, you buy your first house, look for what you think it could rent for.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah,
talk
I
to the
agree with that.
agent.
100%.
Yeah.
I do.
But that's just
I
a
do.
different perspective. I'm not disagreeing.
I like your
heavily with
perspective. I like your perspective. I think more people should have that perspective, but I think the perspective of most homeowners is just, I should buy a home. Everyone's got a house.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
housing
we
market's
sell a
hot
lot
right
of
now. It all
houses,
goes up
you know?
always. Yeah.
No, we sell a lot, and a lot of times I do look at it. I mean, I would say the most common house that we sell right now, or the most common buyer for the houses, is, in my opinion, a fairly smart investment where they put a little bit amount of money down, and they move in to one of the rooms. It's a 3-bed house. They rent out the other 2.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know, something where they buy a house $300,000-$400,000. They're out of pocket $15,000, and then their mortgage is, you know, let's
Covered.
say $1,500 a month. They rent out each room for $800 a month. They have a free house and they live in it.
Yeah,
and then
that's
if they
nice.
wanted to leave, they could rent it out for $2,400, and then they would be pocketing a few $100s.
Right. And that's where none of this shit is like black and white. Like, it's like,
For sure. Well,
there's
'cause
a
if you're-
million situations where where renting's better. There's a million situations where buying's better.
100%.
And it's so individual as well. Like, what's
And
your
you just gotta
income?
be
What's your
thoughtful.
goals?
You got to be thoughtful about
Yeah.
it. And you have to have a plan, and then also have like a backup plan, and understand, hey, if the value of this property goes down and now this equity that I think I have, I don't actually have, I
Then
don't
what?
want to be forced to
Right.
do one of two things. I don't want to be forced to pay money every single month in order to keep the house if I'm not living in it, right? Like, I'm renting it out and now a tenant's living in it, plus I got to come to the table with $200 a month.
Yeah.
That's not a good situation, because at that point it is a liability that can hurt you. And then the second option is you don't want to be forced to sell it in a down market where you thought you had equity and now you don't have any equity.
Oh.
So keep those two things in mind. Make sure that you're not going to have to sell it, which the thing that would make you have to sell it is the rent isn't enough to support the debt.
Mm-hmm.
If the rent's not enough to support the debt and you can't come out of pocket to float it during a down market, then you're going to have to sell and you can take a bath.
Yep. Exactly.
So
The other thing that Yeggs that you said that I think about for me personally is like, say if I have 50,000 in the bank, I think of it almost as opportunity cost. Like you said,
Yeah.
would I rather put it into would I rather make an investment, right? And granted, it's real estate. Like you're passing on real estate to do a different kind of real estate. So maybe that's like, could I use that 50,000 for the stock market? Do I rather have it in cash, or could I so the way I think about it is like, is the money best deployed to real estate? And my answer is, even if you had to put 20,000 down, like you can make an argument. Maybe you'd rather put in the stock market. Maybe you'd rather put it into a new e-commerce company. So what are you doing? Like, what is the alternative? And then sort of weigh your options that way. But
yeah, totally. But that's exactly it is. That's how I'm looking at it personally.
That's
Just
the
opportunity
calculus.
cost,
Yeah.
because where I'm spending my time and energy is on buying real
Yeah, the
estate.
main thing that new people need to listen to is what you just said. That
Yeah.
last sentence with if the rent doesn't cover the mortgage,
Yeah.
and then you don't have as much equity as you thought you had,
Yeah.
are you fucked?
Right.
Because if you go in and then like you do that, that's a risk, and people get fucked. You know, like
sure.
it's just something you should understand.
I also just like,
Most don't.
I agree, but they're like, the lending practices are not like they were in 2008. Like, it's not like that. 2008, you had strippers buying second houses based off of like reported like income that they would report themselves.
Yeah.
It just and it was like wild valuations, no equity in the house, 97%. I mean, if there was 100% loans.
See, I don't know, bro. I think that shit's gonna. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think that the real estate's. I don't know. I don't know.
So here's my take on the market. Supply and demand causes the prices to go up, right? There was heavy demand because there was low rates. Rates were at like sub 3% for a while.
Low rates
so a lot of people
and
were buying.
more money than there's ever fucking been. So everyone had
For
more
sure.
money to go buy shit
The
and needed to
stimmies.
put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So demand was super high.
Yeah.
Supply chain and just the difficulty of navigating through the government during these shutdowns over the past 2 years made the supply really, really low. So there was too many dollars chasing too few goods,
Yep.
which causes the price to rise. So that's why the price of real estate has increased insane amounts over the last couple of years. So now they're rising rates to curb that because it was increasing too quickly. And this is just my understanding of it, right? But them rising rates is going to decrease demand, but supply is still fucked. Right now, in the Philly market, there's 1 month supply, meaning
Yeah.
like the way that they measure the markets is all of the properties listed on the market today, if there were no new properties listed, how long would it take that inventory to sell out?
In a healthy market, 6 months.
Yeah, it's like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Right now there's one.
Yeah.
That's incredibly low. So even if the demand halves, it's still the supply is not there to meet the demand. So I don't think we're going to see a drop in real estate price. I could totally be off on this. And the correct answer is I don't know.
Of course, everyone could be wrong.
My point is, like, I don't see it when we sell a house. There's still a ton of people looking, and now even just very recently we had someone that was going to see a property that we're going to list for $750 in about a month, and they wanted to see it before it was done. Rates went up, and their buying power dropped from $750 to $650. So we lost that buyer now. But then we met another person, and they were like, "Yeah, we were going to buy one for $875, but now our buying power is $750. So we're looking here." So I just kind of think that it's going to fill in. The holes are going to fill in where there's space that's created, and the demand is still there to take the supply that's currently available because the supply is so low. So until we see an increase in supply, I just don't see how the prices are going to drop. If I can sell a house for $700 or $750, I'm not going to sell it for $700. As the seller, like no one would.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's my take on
Is in supply going up?
Not recent, dude. It's hard. It's really hard to build a house right now.
I think it is. I think supply is going up.
Yeah,
prices are going down.
That data is like 2 weeks old, so I'm not sure like exactly where it is right
It's
now.
like there's like a lag.
Yeah,
of all of it.
Rental supply in the Philly market is like coming heavy on the market. But for sale stuff, not really. Now, if you have let's say you have people that need to get equity out of their houses and then they start selling, that would increase supply. If you have people that can't make their monthly payments and there's foreclosures, that increases supply. Yeah. So there's definitely ways that supply can be increased, but right now it's just, at least, like I said, that data being a couple weeks old, I don't see, like it has to be higher. The supply has to be higher. Here's the question.
Do you want it to crash?
I don't like the idea of like hoping for a crash. Like I'm never like, oh,
isn't that the weirdest fucking thing?
Yeah,
because like you want it to, but you also don't. But like you kind of exactly.
It would be good for me.
It hurts, but it's good. And then you're like, I want it to, but I don't want it to.
What I hope happens, because I think there needs to be some sort of relief, is like, I'll say this: I hope there's like a slight correction.
What's going on over there? When they just turn black.
Yeah, I think they're all right.
Yeah.
But I hope there's a slight correction, right? It's been rising so steadily, so quickly, that I think a correction could be healthy.
I think a correction's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it will
too. I'm just talking about when. Like for me, I think about 6 month outlook because of where our construction timelines are at.
Yeah.
Timing's always the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to wait out a bear market. So yeah, let me ask you this: with rising interest rate, does that change your strategy at all from develop? Like, because you guys are borrowing money too, or when you think about your spreadsheets, is the cost of borrowing money for you, is it just passed on to the customer, or does it not change the way? Because like when I think about supply macro, if interest rates are higher, wouldn't people be less incentivized to increase the supply? Because now, like if you're Toll Brothers, would you not?
No, everything is more difficult. I mean, even like our construction financing it goes up.
Right.
So all of it, everywhere goes up. And then, I mean, dude, the cost to build a house right now for us is up like 40%.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Inflation, supply chain.
To answer your question though, really, I guess simply is we pass that on to the people who we're buying houses from. Right. We're very conservative when we look at things, because at the end of the day, my role is to look out for our investors and make sure that our investors, and ourselves don't get screwed by buying a stinker. You know what I mean? So I make sure that we are.
What's the definition of a stinker?
A stinker needs more money than it produces in order for you to keep it.
Got it.
So I don't want a stinker.
Nobody wants that.
But the only variable I can, I think, reliably control right now is the purchase.
Yeah.
We can't reliably count on rates to stay the same this week versus next week. We can't reliably count on construction to stay the same this week versus next week. Rent has been steadily increasing, but I'm not convinced that that's going to continue. I mean, historically, like corrections in markets don't really even correct rents that much, at least in Philly. But where we make sure that we stay conservative is on the purchase.
The thing that I find weird is everything else is crashing. Crypto, stocks, real estate has been insulated from it. So I'm sort of with Luke, right? At a certain point, but I'm not a real estate expert. I think there's going to be some sort of correction.
Yeah, but there has to be, like an impetus for the correction.
No, I think you're right.
There needs to be underlying data for a correction, and one piece of it is consumer sentiment. That's for sure. That will decrease demand, but like I said, until supply increases, I just don't know where it's going to come from.
Everyone just got 40% poorer. Like a lot of people have lost, I think 15% of value over the last 2 months. 15% of like total value of
global
like
wealth. Yeah.
Global wealth decreased. So like everyone just lost 15% of their money if you averaged it out. Yeah, I mean, I think, and then consumer debt's through the roof. So I think that that's for sure up next.
Think of it this way too.
And it's naivety, but it could be totally wrong. Like Naval said, he wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Or not Naval.
Freeberg.
Chamath.
Chamath, yeah.
Freeberg's whole thing was like, right now the average income is 7 times the median, or the average home price is 7 times the median household income. Where in 2008 it was 5 times. But there's a lot of other things. It didn't map out entirely, but it was just an interesting thing. Like you think about that. Sure. If the average house is 7 times the median income, like that's a little weird. Like these are the people buying the houses.
I just don't know what that means.
You know it means that the house is more expensive compared to the amount of money you make.
For sure.
Yeah.
Totally. But like,
I mean, it's simple. It's like, if
I get that,
someone needs to cut the check, you know, and if people aren't making money and they're losing their net worth, then
think about affordability, the word you used earlier. They could afford 875 to 750. That's just in interest rates. But now imagine there's other things. So now their portfolio is worth $1 million, but now it's worth 850. And
850 conservatively, like,
and you're not even
I'm
counting
down
for
like fucking 40%, dude.
Well, you're too much Kathy Wood for you though, right? Because that's what you are. You like
I mean, I'm aggressive.
Yeah.
I have a long time horizon.
Yeah.
I'm confident like that. I'm chill.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I need that money right now. And it's all, the first thing that gets fucked is the growth. And then the first thing that comes back is the growth. So it'll be the first thing on the way up to come back. But, you know, like fucking Shopify stock, dude, $350. It was at $1,700.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
You know, like that's like fucking like a fucking shit coin sounding type of shit. You know, it's like you could buy Shopify for $350. It was $1,700 a little bit ago. And that's like, everything, like everything's Amazon 3,000, 2,000, you know, Google 3,000 to 2,000, you know, and then Freeberg said that like the total volume of shares in a market during a usual bottom needs to turn over 6 whole times, and so far it's only turned over a half of one time. So it's already down this much. It's turned over a half of one time. I think that there's more to go. It's gonna get uglier. I think consumer debt, that's a huge indicator that people just don't have enough fucking money. So if that happens, then there's like what they're talking about. I don't know the ramification of like a consumer debt bubble, but that's not good. You know, it's like people can't afford things.
Yeah, but too many people are saying that for
somewhere.
When's the last time everyone called the recession?
Yeah, that's fair.
We're in a recession.
No, we're not yet.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not. Technical definition of recession is two straight quarters of negative GDP growth. I think we will be after this next quarter, but we're not technically in one.
I mean, it's only understood in hindsight, but I think we're there.
I agree. But I'm saying like this whole like global crazy collapse. I don't remember the last time that everyone was like, yo, this shit's going to collapse.
People think right now it's collapsed.
People, everyone that I've tuned into is like, yo, this shit's about to get fucking real. Like, stock up on food. Stock up on ammo.
Who are you listening to?
I don't know. There's people who think that like we're fine too. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I've heard both messages. The
overwhelming message I'm hearing is like everything's collapsing. So I'm like getting confident now. I'm like, oh, the market's got some room to run.
I think too, when everyone has the same sort of like 3 months ago, everyone was like, oh my gosh, the market's crazy. Awesome. Like invest your money. Kathy Wood's a god, like, or goddess. And now, so I guess last thing, then we can switch to the stock market. So Yags, your view on making a 6-month, 12-month prediction as a resident real estate guy is like, you're not going to do that. You're just like, you're looking at what comes across your desk every day, evaluating everything based on day of. And then like, as market conditions change, you'll pivot.
Yeah. And I'm
always have to do that.
I'm looking at what I know, like within real estate, there's different, each market is different. the Philadelphia market's very different than the New York market, which is very different than the Miami market. And then within the Philadelphia market, there's sub-markets that are all very, very different. So I'm looking at it like very hyper-focused on the specific markets that I know. Then within the specific markets that I know, there's different asset classes. And each asset class performs differently historically in down markets and up markets, and on the way down and on the way up, and they each have different indicators for what's good and what's bad. So like for me, what I'm looking at is really just the stuff that we're invested in. And I just want to make sure that our flips, I want to make sure we're into it for a number that I'm comfortable with. So like maybe I'm only into it for a 65% LTV, meaning market drops 20%, I'm still making a profit on the deal.
Yeah.
And then the stuff that we hold, I want to make sure that that our debt is at a manageable number with conservative estimates on rent and conservative like expense ratios and conservative debt assumptions that we're still cash flowing. And the cash flow I'm not looking at as we're going to live on it. I'm looking at the cash flow as a hedge against the rental market dropping. So for us, I'm just like, we look at it very, very conservatively. We look at our deals that we're currently building as each one is like, okay, where do we think the market's going to be in 6 months, 12 months, depending on what the deal is and how long we think it'll take to build. And then we're investing accordingly. But, for us, we've always been in the beginning of our career, we have to invest, at least the way I look at it, we invest to like protect against the downside, like right now. Because I'm just like, I think at some point the market is going to correct backwards. It's seen such consistent growth. So it's just a matter of when, and we're investing with that mentality in mind.
Got it. All right, let's go to stocks, and Luke, maybe we'll start with you on this one. So you alluded to it a little bit. You're down big time. In our conversation, I forget if it was on or off the air, but like one of the things I'm fascinated with is when do you know during a downturn it's the right time to go in? Like in March of 2020, I'm still kicking myself because I said when we get a correction, I'm going to buy, and then like I didn't have the courage to step in. So like even right now, like you said, Shopify is down. It's lost like 80% of its value. Like, and there's a bunch of Peloton, there's a bunch of stocks like that. So like when you look at the stock market right now, are you thinking about buying more? And if not, what are you waiting for? Do you have an advisor, or like, how are you thinking about that?
So I think it's like extremely hard, like almost impossible to time the bottom. And if you do, you're just fucking lucky at the end of the day. And like the more poised way to do it is just dollar cost average into the companies that you believe in. I think from like sound financial advice, I have a belief that it's just going to go lower, and I have a very long time horizon. So because of that, I'm not tripping out that my stuff is down. A lot of that is because of crypto. Like most of that is because crypto is just getting fucking shit on right now. And I'm confident that the stuff that I have in 10 years will be just fine.
What'd you have in that?
How much?
No, what like?
Mainly it's Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like that's most of it. And then there's Solana a little bit that's fucking smoked now as well. Everything's just fucking smoked today.
I sold all my stuff like 4 months ago, and then I just forgot about my Solana because I was holding it in Coinbase, and everything else is on my MetaMask.
Yeah, it's like 40 bucks like, a coin now. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's impossible to do, but what I'm doing is first and foremost, I'm focusing on my cash flow.
Okay.
Like him, you know, so it's like if you have more cash flow, none of this shit feels as heavy.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you're producing cash flow, then you're producing cash flow, and you're just poised with a different confidence that someone that's not producing cash flow is when they're using money. So number one, producing cash flow. Number two, I think it's going to go worse, and I have money ready. So I have money in my Coinbase account. I have money in my stock account, and I'm just, keeping an eye on it. I think there's more to come.
Yeah. So do you have a specific number in mind? Like for Bitcoin, it's at like, I don't know what it is today, 30,000. Like, or are you just going to wait and see? Because I think the problem I have with that approach is like I waited and see it, and I didn't have the courage. So I like dollar cost averaging or mapping out a plan in my mind. So it's like when it goes to 25,000, I'll buy a little bit. When it goes to 20,000, like how are you thinking about that?
That's what I was going to ask, if you have a plan to get back in, or if you're just going to
I do.
throw a lump sum.
Oh, I'm throwing lump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm throwing lump.
So you're trying to time the bottom.
Well, no, I'm trying to, but I'm not expecting to.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to, but I'm expecting that I probably won't.
Yeah.
And then like I'll throw a chunk, but like I have cash flow, so I could throw another chunk the next month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm throwing all of my money in
Right.
or something like that. I'm throwing a portion of the money in, and I'm making like that amount of money every single month. You know, so so I am trying to do that, and my plan is a feeling. Like Rob was like, "Oh, are you looking for a number?" I'm like, "No, I'm looking for a fucking feeling." So I think, in that, my belief is that a big correction is going to happen. So I think there's gonna be a point where it's like, "Oh, this is bad," and that's like right now. Like people are like, "This is bad," and then there's like another point, and then there's like a, "Oh my god," and it's like blatant. If that doesn't come, then I could miss, and I'll probably end up buying stuff at some point regardless. But you know, I remember it's when it's blatant. You know, I think there's blatant opportunities.
Be a false hope?
It's called
the dead cat bounce.
Yeah. You think there's gonna be something like that?
I mean, there is every day. It's like almost like, not every day, but every couple of days, there's like a little, you know, false hope, and then just
Don't the market? I don't really know, so I'm actually asking. But don't the markets usually have like a 1 week period or something where like they start to run and then they just fucking dive?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't,
like, isn't that what that is essentially?
Dead cat bounce. Yeah, it looks like it's going back up. What's this word
that you guys are saying? What's this phrase?
It's just called a dead cat bounce.
Like I guess
so it's like it looks like it. I don't know. Maybe dead cats bounce.
Maybe the cat's dead, but yeah, it has like a last
okay.
Wait, so Luke, let me ask you, like, whenever this thing happens, right?
What do I buy?
What are you gonna buy?
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tesla, Google. Those are the main ones.
And you think it'll just be like
maybe Shopify,
25% or 20% into each of those, or are you more bullish on certain ones versus others?
I don't know that yet, but it's just those ones.
So
Tesla's one of my favorites. Google's one of my favorites.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Bitcoin, Ethereum's like the safest there.
Yeah. I saw something, I forget if it was during the All In podcast. They basically said Bitcoin is basically tracking the Nasdaq now. Like if you follow the charts of the Nasdaq, so they almost call Bitcoin like the super Nasdaq. And I don't know. I just think maybe when the Fed changes their tune, because that's what happened in March 2020. The Fed came in big, changed their tune. And
they can't do that though.
They can't do that. They have no bullets left in the chamber. So
they can't do that.
For right now, the trajectory seems they're going to raise a few more times. But
yeah,
Yegs, how about you? Like, how do you think about stock investing? Maybe first and foremost, like I know most of your time spent in real estate. Do you just have like S&P index? Do you have some crypto? Like, do you have guys that you trust that?
Nope. no, I just straight up don't even invest in it, honestly. And I probably should, but like right now, the way that I look at the real estate investments is that it's an investment into myself. I'm not investing into real estate. I'm investing into our operation. Yeah. So that's something that I feel
way more controllable.
I feel way more control over. I feel way more comfortable with it. And it's something that I don't feel is at a position yet where I want to remove some dry powder from that focus. But when I do eventually, I probably will, just knowing my personality, probably
do
try
similar shit.
Yeah. I'll just like throw chunks at stuff that I like. I mean, and like I have some in crypto, and that's just like me messing around, and I play with like small cap stuff, and I'm really bad at it.
Yeah.
I'm impressively bad at it. Like if you did the exact opposite moves of what I did, you would have crushed this market.
I do think it's a good lesson for people. Like, you know what you're good at, and like you sort of operate in that sandbox.
Well, and I'm prepared for the crypto investments to go to zero.
Yeah,
you know, like it's something that like if everything that I invest in goes to zero, then it is what it is. Like I'm not over leveraged there, or I'm counting on it.
I'm actually curious, Luke, what you think about this.
I mean, I'm not leveraged at all, but like that would suck fucking ass.
The way I look at it is like I have 90% of my shit is like people would say, Alex, that's good. Like S&P index, like well, like Vanguard would approve of it. But then the last 10%, to your point, I'm comfortable with it going to zero. But I want to take risks at this stage of my life, and I think I've seen with different types of friends, like for my boy Pill, it's like 90%. Like he can sleep fine. Like I want to sleep fine at night, and I don't want to change my lifestyle if it goes to zero. How do you think about that? Like
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but to your point though, you also have great cash flow. So like if it goes to zero, if Bitcoin goes to zero, it's okay. You have a great business. You have a great.
You invested in shit because you had some. Like I said, I didn't feel we were at a point that I was comfortable enough to take dry powder out and allocate it somewhere else. But you were at a point where you had that, where you were comfortable taking it out. So the business is still cranking, which is the main thing, and that's still where the main focus is. Like the investments are they're investments.
Yeah, and then I also do believe in Bitcoin and Ethereum.
I do too.
So it's like I just believe in it, and like some of the smartest people that I really believe in and admire and am inspired by, they really believe in it. Humans, I think, use the better thing, So like I believe in that concept, and because of that, I believe in cryptocurrency, and my time horizon is extremely long. It's like if I was fucking 60 years old and I had a certain amount of money that needed to be like a certain thing for a certain amount of time, I'd probably be doing something totally different. But I'm fucking 30. I don't plan on touching really any of this money like ever, probably for, a very, very, very long time, regardless. So I don't care, go up, go down, sweet. It's like the long haul. I think it'll be at least up. But I would say that I do want to add a lot more of like Tesla and Google and some of these other companies that I just really believe in. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else stock market or crypto wise? Do you want to talk about Luna or?
Well, yeah. But what I was going to say first, because you guys might have some input on this, is like where I struggle with investing in stocks and even crypto. Like the reason why I have crypto investments is because I like the ideology behind it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to have a portion of it just betting, like you said, long time horizon, just betting on the idea essentially. But I have trouble with like, okay, if I believe in a company, for instance, understanding where the valuation comes from, and I just don't know enough about it. But I'm curious if you guys, like you said, you want to buy more Tesla. Are you looking for a certain, like it to hit a certain market cap, and then you're gonna buy some based on fundamentals, or is it like a
fundamental
like the company?
So I think Tesla. I mean, what's Tesla?
Like, I like the company too, but
Tesla last year successfully and more quickly manufactured a large product than any other company in human history. They're like totally. They've never done anything marketing related, and they're totally overwhelmed by demand. And then Elon, I just believe in the guy, so is it like technical analysis? Like, am I like, and he's like, we'll spit off a tremendous amount of free cash flow. So it's a very cash positive business. I believe in the dude.
But does that matter for the price of shares?
Yeah,
like,
it does
matter,
it does.
But it's like, okay, but what if the consumer sentiment is already priced in and it's not based off of like EBITDA?
Yeah, I think it is a fair question.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it is, and then it's just it's trading at a multiple of whatever that is.
Right, but what if they continue? What if consumer sentiment is so high on Tesla, because it is super high on that? Like with this specific example, it's so high that even if the company's doing better, the financials, it could get to a point where the financials still don't even support the stock price, even though the financials have only increased for a year because there's so much consumer sentiment heaped in on the front end. Like that's my issue with buying stocks.
It's a great question.
Yeah, because it's so heavily dependent on people.
Well, I mean, I said so. If it's like if it's based on people's feelings, but then the company continues to grow and do what it looks like it's doing, then the sentiment, I guess, would increase right along with it. So it's just kind of like that would neutralize that, wouldn't it? Because that would, like, if everything's growing.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, I guess it's just it's more fickle than.
Yeah, and then he's also gonna do these fucking robots. Yeah, and he's like, and he literally is like, this will be bigger than the cars. Yeah, he's like, people have no idea. And like all these other electric car manufacturers, he's like, I love Elon, by the way. Like, I fucking love the guy. They're like, are you worried about anybody? He's like, no.
I don't think he thinks about anyone.
No, he doesn't.
He's
like,
thinking about himself,
patents open sourced. We'll give everything to everybody. Yeah. It'll help transport. He's like, what these car companies are doing, he's like, is they're trying to, without ever producing a car before, going to fucking mass production. He's like, that's like someone who's never worked out going to the Olympics. Like, you're not gonna win, like, period, end of story. And then he's like, we successfully have produced a large object, which I guess is like, in manufacturing, like a certain size at a greater capacity and speed than any other company in the history of the world. And then on top of that, the speed is like 3 times faster than any other automobile company in like how quickly they got up to like these production numbers. And yeah, I believe in the guy, I believe in the guy. I believe in his like compass, I believe in his internal compass. So it's like, if you're going to buy a stock,
Yeah, there certainly are worse reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
If you guys were Musk, just going to the Twitter deal for a second, would you go back? Because I think Twitter, first off, the market's gotten smacked since he agreed to $54 billion. If I was Musk, I would say, you guys have a shit business.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you $40 billion for it.
Well, bro, did you see he's investigating what percentage of accounts, total accounts are fake.
Yeah.
That totally could be his
Decrease.
pin to kind of
What's the actual user base?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And
Well,
then-
you're worth 30% less because 30% is his fucking bots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the market's gone down 30%. So even without that, like, I think if he pulls out, I know he's got to pay $1 billion fee. It actually might be the smartest $1 billion fee in history. Because, like, if the company's only worth $35 million, like, so,
right.
But anything else stock market, crypto wise? Like, you want to go?
I wanted to just touch on the Luna thing.
Okay.
Just because
yeah.
I just think it's insane. And I'm not like the most educated about it by any means, but I just think it's insane that, Terra, like Luna, this massive company. I mean, it was worth tens of billions of dollars at its peak with a bunch of employees, and they had a mission statement and a vision, and they had people that brought in to make sure that the culture at their office was better. Like, this was like it was a functioning company, and it went from, $90 a coin to literally zero, like 0.00012 or whatever the hell it is. Like that, I just think that's almost unfathomable. Like, has that happened with the stock market? I don't know. I mean, maybe like companies like Enron or something, where there's like something big happens inside the company where it's like fraud in it, or like Bear Stearns?
Bear Stearns, yeah.
Or like Lehman Bros.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe something like that. But it just...
Companies
it's
have
kind of
gone to
mind-blowing.
zero, for sure. Companies have gone to zero. I don't know if that quickly.
Yeah. Within a week. And here's the crazy part. It's within a week, but there wasn't a huge scandal. There wasn't something big that came
I thought
out.
like institutions tried to trigger it.
Well,
I
like,
thought
what,
it was
what
like
people are saying is like BlackRock, I believe it was BlackRock, borrowed like 33,000 Bitcoin or some ridiculous amount, and then they used that Bitcoin to purchase Luna.
Yeah.
And then did some sort of massive sell-off event, which
Triggered the
caused
whole
this
thing,
depegging of their UST, like the Terra coin that it's supposed to be $1.
Yeah.
I
I don't fully understand the stable coins. I got to get smarter on that stuff.
I don't either. You were saying, we were talking on the phone about this, Luke, about like it's something to do with like an algorithmic stable coin versus like something
where there's like a certain amount of the coins that exist, and then for every like one of the stable coins, like then
there's like a dollar
an
reserve
equal amount gets like burned or something like that on the other end of it. I don't know how it works at all.
I don't either. I didn't want to talk about it for that long because none of us know shit about
dude.
this.
Ryan follows crypto a lot, and like he fucks around with like a lot of people who like do a bunch of crypto shit.
Yeah.
And he sent me this email this morning. I was like, damn, if I read through this, I'll really fucking be able to smash this topic. But it was like,
Didn't read it.
It was like, like this long, all these fucking charts. I got like a middle. I'm like, I don't care if I fucking know this enough. So
Yeah, fair enough.
But what I understand is that there's like Tether, which is collateralized by real money, supposedly.
Like, they have $1 billion in some cash reserve, and they have $1 billion coins.
There's real money that's collateralizing it, where here it's an algorithm that's collateralizing it against nothing. It's an algorithm. It's just stabilizing it with like itself in some fucking way that's beyond my comprehension at this moment in time. So move on. Next.
It's also
Next.
Well, it's also just like an interesting thing that's a risk that you're dealing with crypto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something to be aware of. It's like government regulation and like institutions, like legacy institutions, systematically taking you out.
Yeah.
Like that's
going
something you
in
have to be
fucking,
aware of.
like that's fucked.
It's crazy. It's not a regulated market,
Dude,
the same way.
and like
My
they're
understanding
just
was that would be illegal.
fucking bazillionaires, and then they're just ruining all of these people's lives who have like their $60,000 in savings in this fucking.
I don't know
Tether
exactly
thing.
what happened, but that's kind of my understanding.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest headwind to crypto as a whole is regulation. Like, why would the U.S. government?
I think that the regulation is a helpful thing.
Well, I think maybe regulation is the wrong word. Does the U.S. government want to lose control of the monetary system? I would say no. Like,
Definitely no.
They won't.
So is the question I guess I would ask then, is that a headwind for Bitcoin? Like
crypto's inherently
Yeah,
a
that's
risk
the
to
biggest risk.
that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
I think, but
That's
like,
what Miller's
but, like,
saying with regulation, with like them coming in.
Regulation
and
might be
blowing
the
it
wrong-
up
yeah.
With like,
Well, here I'm not one of these people that ever think crypto is going to replace all the money everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, whoa, tomorrow everyone's using fucking Ethereum now or like some fucking Solana shit. It's not going to be like that, but there'll be a place for it, and that's what I believe.
yeah.
Yeah. And the place for it will be a greater size than it is right now in the future when it needs to be for me to not lose money.
Yeah.
In the few coins that I'm in.
Got it.
So it's like that's all I need to know. I don't know more than that.
And I guess too, as we move to the next topic, none of this is financial advice, and you should talk to your financial advisor.
don't listen to us.
Yeah,
no
don't
matter
listen.
what you do. Talk to your financial advisor. Don't. But
I don't
just
know
listen
what
to
the
us.
fuck is going on. No one does.
You guys want to talk about education next? So I think the reason why this topic came up is there was talk around student loan forgiveness, and I think there's probably a segue on that too. But let's start with like, I think you guys both mentioned in the last podcast, but like what your education background is and maybe your overall thoughts on just like college as a whole. So,
What's fucking Jim? I just hear Jim Rohn right now.
okay. So you went to
Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune.
all right. I feel like this question's right up your wheelhouse. So let's take it first.
Let's fucking go.
All right, go ahead, Yags.
Look, I just think that to summarize my position on formal education, I think that the price has far exceeded the value, flat out. And I think that people were sold a bad set of goods. I think that in general,
And still are.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
I'd feel like a
being
fucking
sold this
absolute
model.
piece of shit if I had some of these. Like, imagine owning an online school. Like, how
do you
fucked up do you have to be to own? Like, where it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you this fucking online degree. Like, pay us fucking thousands of dollars.
yeah, but at least that, like, honestly, what I think is even more of a shtick is just like these, like, in-person colleges that cost $50,000 a year.
Same thing.
Yeah, but an online thing, you can get a degree online for
There's
20,
such
30,
a
40
small percentage of people that it actually is useful for,
Yeah,
and these are like
it's an
important
outdated
aspects.
model. I think
It's an outdated model, and there's a lot of societal pressures
Yeah.
to like go to
to school.
college.
Right.
So let me just say one thing on the price, and I want you to keep going.
Yeah.
On the All In podcast, they talked about 1970 to now, public institution was like 1,200. Now
Yeah.
it's 21 grand.
Yeah.
Private institution 2 grand to 50 grand. So it's like 25, 20x.
Is that like inflation adjusted and everything?
I actually don't know if it's inflation adjusted, but even if it is, I think that's still like
Either way, I know it is.
Still
it's
in the
gotten
red.
higher.
Like, let me just say one,
Yeah.
one anecdote.
in the fucking red.
My grandfather put 4 kids through school when he was a truck driver.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a truck driver putting 4?
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Can't happen.
Right? So
And truck driving is like pretty good pay nowadays.
yeah.
Yeah, so I just in general though, like we got on this topic because the Biden admin was talking about forgiving some student loan debt.
Which is bullshit. But let's put a pin in that. We'll come back because I want to come back to that.
Oh, I was about to go with that.
Okay, you want to go? Okay. Well,
just because I think that it all ties in. The price of school has gotten to such an extreme level that people have to take out this debt. And then the federal government decided to take control of the debt. And there's not much that the federal government is good at besides protecting the citizens. So like just fucking stick to that and get out of our lives. But regardless. So they take on this
you don't think the federal government's innovative? And the U.S. Postal Service, I had to send something. I had to send a blood sample for Everlywell.
Yeah.
They lost my sample twice. Of
course they did.
It was priority mail.
Nah, dog, they didn't lose it. That shit's in a laboratory.
yeah, they got you, bro.
Yeah, that's their innovation, my friend.
All right, sorry, Yags. I cut you off. Keep going.
Oh, but like they're just so they
It's
decide to
fucking
take on
blood
this
tracing you.
behemoth of an issue, this mountain of an issue of student loan
I know.
debt. And it's you can't declare bankruptcy when you have this student loan debt, and they just it's the way that it's structured is so predatory, where you could pay just these minimum payments on the student loans and like you're not paying them off at all.
Yeah.
So I think there is a problem with the way that student loans are held, but like that to me is clear. But to be like, oh yeah, let's pay off student loan debt sounds insane to me, especially because I read this the other day that 60% of all student loan debt is held by people with graduate degrees. So basically what you're doing is you're taking funds from the government to subsidize historically the highest earners within the government by statistics. So you're basically using the poor to subsidize the rich.
We'll go back to thoughts on the education system because I think Yeg went to the student debt. So like initial thoughts on the student debt stuff.
I don't have much thoughts about it. I think that the whole thing's fucked.
You gotta restructure it, not pay it off.
I don't like the idea of the government just printing more money. I know that. I do not like that because I think that that's already happened far too much, and I think that it distorted a bunch of people's situations and realities and thoughts, and I don't think that that's a good thing. And at the same time, I think that it's a bad thing. I mean, I literally think it's a huge fucking scam. Like I'm not even joking when I say college 90% of the time is a massive fucking scam.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
Unless you're a doctor, an engineer, or you're not taking out debt, right? Like your parents are millionaires and like you can have like an experience and like learn who you are or whatever. It's an absolute fucking joke. Like what the fuck does a degree from like any B, C, D, E fucking tier school do for you at all? Like what the fuck?
Well, look, let's actually answer that question though. That's a good question to answer.
Then let me go one more thing.
Yeah.
And then people are getting this debt when they're not fucking aware of anything. They're 17 years old or they're 18 years old. They have no concept of what the fuck they're doing. And it's just fucked up. Like it should be fucking like borderline. I mean, it sounds crazy. It should be fucking illegal. Like it's like you see this shit. Like it should. I mean, like I'm not even kidding. Like figure out a new way to do it. Like it's not right. Like okay, here you're fucking like I saw some fucking comedian. The guy's like, yeah, I'm like 26. I'm finishing my poli-sci. Like fucking masters. It's like, dude,
good idea.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
like you can go on. Like fucking brain,
YouTube.
YouTube, there's all these fucking things you can learn coding. Like the world's different. There's certain skills that are very valuable.
Yeah.
And how you can get information now is not the same, right? Like college existed because the dissemination of information was geographically restricted and the guy with the best information was here. So you had to go here to physically get the information from him, and that made that worth it. The internet's changed that.
Also think about what it gave you when you said the information was centralized. It actually gave you skills. Like you would graduate college and the idea was you graduate with skills.
Right.
An understanding of
because it was
things.
only available at Harvard at that time because only this professor had this fucking information. When you went there, you actually did get more than everyone else. Now you go on YouTube and you type in, Elon Musk and like let's learn business. It's okay, read Amazon's letter to shareholders. You know what I mean? Like 100 times. And like that's how you learn this shit. It's not by fucking, studying a book about like fucking some fucking theory.
But that's the thing. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to school to gain skills, to learn. I think there's very few people that go to school thinking like, okay, I'm going to go here so that I can graduate and be more equipped to have a better life and to deal in the workforce. I think that they go because it's a quote unquote rite of passage and it's what everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
And they don't know what else to do and it's like comfort food.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So this is what I should do right now.
I do think there's...
Let me take out $200,000 in debt.
Yeah.
There's 20% of the population...
That I can't like, oh my God.
Bad debt too. The way
Bad
it's structured,
debt.
it's bad debt.
Think of this though. When you guys go to get loans for your business, you are vetted. You have a business plan. There's no vetting.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think Freeberg was saying. Like if you take the government guarantee out, things will change overnight.
Totally.
Or if there's an incentive for the college to place you.
Yeah.
Like there was something said like if you're a nursing major, maybe you get 100%. But if you're a art history major, nothing against art history. I think I actually got an A in freshman year. That was one of my electives. Like you shouldn't get 100% back. It's not a good loan.
Well, because the people lending you money are going to look at you as an investment.
Right.
And they're going to say, okay, what's your
fucking
probability
liability?
of paying this back?
Yeah, exactly.
What is your chance of paying this back?
Right.
Income sharing, I think David Sachs brought up like, hey, for the first 10 years of your career, I take 10% of your income. Like, to me, that's fair. They have skin in the game right now.
Yeah.
College has no skin in the game. Dude, it's the biggest racket of all time.
We actually had that idea with like one thing we want to do later on. I mean,
And people were pissed in Vima when we were like, school's a fucking scam. We didn't know how right we were.
I mean, I think that
now I'm like a hundo P. Like, oh my God, 100%.
Yeah, that idea is definitely becoming more popular
For
too.
everyone, yeah.
But yeah, so we had this idea.
We were
stoked
early on it.
We have construction in-house for us. And one of the things that we want to do is take people that are like born in Philly, like raised in Philly from the area, and pay for them to go to trade school for 2 years. And then in exchange, we would say, okay, listen, we're going to pay for you to go to school for this amount of time. And in exchange, you're going to come out of school and you're going to sign a contract that you work for us for, 4 years, and here's your pay. So like, they get free school, they are going to get paid, and then we can guarantee that we have workers employed for us that know what they're doing, and it's like a good investment for us. We would look at that as an investment. Your trade school for 2 years is going to cost us $50,000. The average, person in your position is going to make $50,000. So now we're going to pay you $35,000 for 4 years. So for us, we're saving a little bit of money, and then we have a good worker, or even if we're not saving money, but we just ensure that we have good people working for us, and then for them, they get free school and they're actually making money. So it's like an investment.
I think there's a Charlie Munger quote that says, "Show me the incentives and I'll show you the result." To me, when you align the incentives correctly, but when you think about the incentives right now for institutions, what incentive do they have to not raise price?
Yeah, right.
Nothing.
Right. Well, dude, like you said, you just take away the government guarantee. It's not even factoring out the fact that the federal government tends to be extremely inefficient with every undertaking that they do. Take out the guarantee.
On that, but no, go ahead.
But just take out the guarantee.
Yeah.
If there's not the government backing, guaranteeing, saying that, hey, for sure, like we got you, then it's going to be looked at as an investment.
Now, would you guys agree? In fairness, I'll serve as the resident contrarian,
college graduate
as needed. Yeah,
fucking sheep.
15-20% of like your engineers, your architects, your nurses, your doctors, your lawyers. I think we would all agree it makes sense for them to go to college, but for a lot of other people, 4 years, $300,000 in debt probably doesn't make sense. Like, I think that's where we're landing, just so it's clear what our position is. Okay.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely. I don't want someone fucking doing a surgery on me that hasn't gone to college.
Right.
Like, unless they work with the greatest
apprentice,
surgeon of all time.
Then I don't really care.
Then I don't give a fuck.
But what if we shift to that model? Like, doctors don't go to school. You apprentice for 10 years with someone who knows their shit.
Yeah. I think for those ones, like, you got to keep like a little farm system of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have like the basis. Like, even if you're a dentist, you have to learn all of the anatomy, like the whole body and fucking.
There was a Balaji. Do you guys know Balaji Srinivasan? Do you guys know that guy? He's I
love Balaji.
So he's sort of like Naval. Like
I need to figure out who this guy is.
No,
cool.
He had a really cool idea around education. I forget. It's like built on the blockchain. Have you guys ever heard of Fiverr? Basically, Fiverr is
Upwork.
It's like freelance. Yeah. So basically, it's almost like a review system, but it's built on the blockchain. So like Balaji's idea is, to Luke's point earlier, if there's a YouTube blockchain coding class that you go on and you get some sort of credential on the blockchain, and then like Jaeger, if you hire that guy or gal, and it goes well, like I'm not
a portion of that money would go to who taught them.
Right. Well, that, and also it's like credentializing that person. So instead of going to school for 4 years, like if they took one class and did one task that was like in line with what you needed, they would sort of get like a badge that says, hey, this person can like, the real estate equivalent would be like, can paint a wall.
Yeah, right.
And, so it's just this idea of decentralizing.
I think that for like most job positions, because of the internet, the necessity, like, it's like all of those things were necessary when there was permission needed.
Yeah.
And now that a lot of the things that people do, you don't need permission to do, the result is what speaks. It's like, can this person do the thing? And if they can do the thing, that's all that matters now.
That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. It's like, robots are going to do more stuff. And that's where like humans are more like just like becoming like creative vessels. It's like, what are the things that like are artistic and like media driven and like creative stuff? And you don't need anything to perform in that sense. Like anything, So yeah, it's just a different world. I think fucking point blank, college is an absolute fucking scam unless you're an engineer, a doctor, you're part of the small thing where like, and just do math. Like, this career needs a degree, 100%. need it to get the job. This job is going to pay this amount of money. The degree is going to cost this amount of money. That's a good investment. That's how you should think about school. If you're like, oh, I want to do business, why not try business? Like people,
you also need to know what the loan's going to look like. That's the thing, is no one knows what their student loans are going to look like when they take them out, which is insane to me, especially thinking about, like, we have a lot of debt, but it's all good debt and it's performing. So look at how much your job's going to pay you when you get out of school.
That's literally what I said.
But I'm just saying, you're looking at total cost, but look at how the loan is going to actually perform. Like, people don't understand that.
Can you pay the loan back is what I'm saying, with the money that you make.
Yeah, but so much, like, the way these loans are structured is like,
yeah,
so much
like
of it isn't even going towards the principal.
You pay interest for like 50 years and then like
literally,
you just
it's the same amount.
pay a gazillion dollars. Yeah, I know.
So research the way the loan's actually structured.
Yeah.
I think, Luke, I'll give you credit because I think Jaeger did just steal your idea, but it should be looked at as an investment. Like, hey, it's going to cost me $120,000. I'm going to make $80,000 for the first 5 years.
I just, I wrapped it up.
Is there a fucking echo in here, Miller?
Yeah.
Like, I made your idea easy to understand.
You made it
nuance.
more fucking confusing. Oh, you made it easier to understand with nuance. I'm like 1 + 1 must equal 2.
Yeah, but you skipped the important part.
The other thing that I was
a part of it, but if you have the 1 + 1 = 2, you don't need to know about it.
On the student loans thing, I do think it's clearly a political move. Like, so for all the people that paid off their debt, now they just got penalized for paying off their debt, and then also
there should be like a clawback. Like, oh, if you did pay off your student loans,
I want my $25,000 back.
Camagna was so afraid, dude. Camagna refinanced the student loans because he's real smart with like. If I love the way Camagna does things because he's just so prudent, like so thorough with like. Just the way in depth and very good. So he refinanced the student loans and he's like, dude, I swear to fucking God, if Biden forgives student loans, I'm like while he's thinking about refinancing them, because in order to do that, he had to like leave the
realm that would have gotten a kickback.
Exactly. The realm of like government held ones or whatever into like a private thing. But yeah, that's it.
The other thing that I found interesting when it was like, on the All In podcast, it's like, it's not even for people that are like the lower class. It's really a middle class, like upper middle class. Yeah. With someone on All In, I won't use his words, like the woke upper middle class, highly educated
white
payback.
Liberals.
Yeah. Like, so.
Yeah. I think that like the other thing to be considered is not even economic. It's like what you're breeding into the people. Yeah. Like if you breed into everybody that if you make mistakes, nothing bad's gonna happen, you get fucked up activity. And like Elon said, he's like, I think China's gonna be huge in the electric market. He's like, why? He's like, because they're not burning the midnight oil, they're burning the 3 a.m. oil. And he's like, in America, nobody wants to work. So it's like if you just keep on just, producing this doing these things that like create like a byproduct of like almost like entitlement when like you make a mistake, it's like, nah.
And you're taking away personal responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. That's never good in my opinion. And that's like a fucking like, yeah. Like you gotta think about like the incentives, dude. It's like you can't have not bad feedback from a bad action, or else you have a bunch of people who no longer can see fucking the North Star. It's like you need to get whacked in the face when you shit the fucking bed, so you know not to shit the fucking bed.
Yeah, and then you can get you get your student loans paid off, but think about how that will seep into your mindset with something like health. Like Biden can't fix your health because you don't take personal responsibility and you eat like shit and you don't work out.
Yeah.
So there are things where you're going to see the repercussion and the consequences.
What about too? They're not even talking about fixing the problem. Like they want to give a one time, and dude, there's no change to the. It's literally
a payoff.
It's literally voter payoff.
100%. They got midterms coming up, and it's a payoff.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I don't think so either.
One other thing on the China thing, and then if you guys won't, we can switch to the next topic. apparently for China, TikTok, like for their like 5th graders, they make it all math and science.
Yeah, it's like
and
engineering.
And then our like 3rd and 5th grade is like hilarious shit, but it's definitely hilarious, but it's like, it's not math and science.
No,
Yeah, I heard that
it's definitely not math and science.
I don't know if that's true. I heard the same exact thing.
I
Which
heard
is
it too.
wild.
Yeah,
Like,
from that comedian.
That's straight up cultural warfare if you think about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're making our next generation dumber while making theirs smarter
Yeah.
through algorithms.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Through algorithms.
It's scary, bro.
Seriously.
Yeah, China's definitely a threat. But do you guys want to go to like self-improvement stuff we've all been working on? Like I think I think Luke recommended just like every time we do this, just we're all sort of into optimizing our life in different ways.
Yeah.
Just like, and I'm sure there's more than one, but if there's one thing that sticks out to you, maybe we'll start with you over the past couple of weeks that like you've been working on, or you've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing I talked about last time I was on here was that there was a lot of tasks that I wanted to offload and find someone to take care of them for us. So I started doing that. You know, I started in small ways. Like we brought on a couple more VAs to do some administrative work for us. Just hired someone it's like a young kid who's just real excited about real estate, wants to learn. So he's going to start handling, all the follow-ups now, so I can take that off my plate. So it's just like, a few hours here, a few hours there, just chipping away. I realized that in the last 2 weeks, with these 2 hires, saved myself like, somewhere between 5 to 10 hours a week that I can now reallocate to more efficient tasks.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Luke, anything to add on that, or do you want to give your?
Yeah, that's great.
Just want to keep doing it, honestly. Like, we have a lot more work to go with that, but it's exciting to start leveraging some other people's time.
Yeah, Luke, what about you from a
Optimization standpoint? Socializing, actually. I got a lot of really good results. I went out with Camagna and Emily and Nikki, and we turned it up a little bit. Had some tequila shots, dude. And
what were the results?
they were amazing. Like, mental health went through the roof in a good way. I was like, oh my God, I haven't like not thought about like the things I've been thinking about for a long fucking time after like 3 drinks. And I was like, this is helpful. Like, this is fucking helpful. And we danced.
Relaxation.
Yeah, we danced, fucking it's sexy, fun, it's like that kind of shit's fun to do every once in a while. So
where'd you guys go?
We went to this media townhouse or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. It's like a big,
Yeah. So we had some drinks there, and then I'm like, tequila shots. And then we had some tequila shots, and then we went to some like more grungier spot, but we were just with ourselves.
grungy.
What'd you get, Kildare?
It was in media, so it was like, along those lines with like older people. It was definitely a grungy spot. We stuck out like sore thumbs. I'm not trying to say like we looked good, but we looked good for sure. We were like we were just with each other, just dancing. So we were just here.
Oh, dope.
And then so I tracked my sleep. REM sleep went through the roof. Deep sleep went through the roof. And for like the next like 4 or 5 days. So
Not the night of, the future day.
the night of, I actually got good REM and deep as well.
That's
and I
actually
wasn't
surprising.
hungover, dude. I had like
Very surprised.
8
That's
drinks.
not what happens to me.
Are you sure
No
it was
hangover.
alcohol? Like, I think he was. Are you sure it was
I'm
alcohol?
positive, dude. I'm positive. Yeah, I was buzzed. Camagna was like, he was chill, and then all of a sudden he came back and was like, I gotta go home.
So how are you thinking about that moving forward? Because it sounds like you got some really positive results. So is it going to be like every couple weeks, or are you just going to try to make more of a concerted effort to?
Yeah, I mean, like, I love socializing.
Yeah.
So like that's just a part of my nature. I love people. I love conversations, and it feeds me. You know what I mean? So I want to introduce it, and then it also like it is a dynamic of me and Nikki's relationship that we've never really even explored. I'm like, God, that was so much fun. Like, I love to have a couple drinks with you and go dance, and like, I'm like, how have we never done that before? Like,
I'm doing salsa dancing soon if you want to come.
that sounds like so much fun. Yeah,
We have a bunch of people. who are
Nikki's a
going
good
to this.
dancer.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm a good dancer too. So let's fucking do it.
Yeah, I'll let you know when.
Yeah.
You want to come, Miller?
Maybe.
I'm gonna let you know regardless.
Okay.
I'm more of like a grinder. Like get low.
It's like memories like 8th grade.
Yeah, it is.
Were you guys in a grind line of 4-person?
Basically.
Yeah, that is fun though. I feel that.
Yeah, we were on a vibe, dude.
That's what I like about clubs, because clubs you still get like down and a little bit grimy.
Yeah, and then like if you're with good people,
Yeah.
And then the other thing I told Jaeger, it's like I'm not escaping from anything right now. So
Yeah.
I think like when I was young, like I partied, it was so much fun, and then there was a period where there was like escape in the party, and like it like that's where that like I want to say like dark energy is, you know. And if you're with a bunch of people that aren't doing that, and like you're just here. It was all great vibes. It was just great. So that was my personal development, drinking a bunch of tequila
I think we should have. I know at some
And
point
grinding.
and get grinding.
and dancing. Yeah.
We should do like a
was great.
relationship podcast. Not exclusively, but I think Yags
no,
just got really uncomfortable.
No, I'm down. No, I'm in.
Yanks just got really.
He got really
uncomfortable.
Yags is like, yeah. Like,
I'm down.
I'm
down.
love
It's like
I
your mouth
love
is just not connected
talking
to
about
your.
relationships.
all right, Yags, I'll get you off that topic.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Guys, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm
You-
good. It's all good.
I think you guys will appreciate my reflection. So mine's more of a reflection rather than optimization. So I think for the past like 10 years, you guys have been out doing shit, taking risks, like putting yourself out there. What does Naval say? Like leverage, accountability, personal accountability. Like to be Joe Rogan or to be like a successful real estate guy, like you have to be willing to put your name out there and take risks in your own name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like look stupid. You know, like right now, like there's definitely people that are like, "Oh God, look at
These
like,
guys are
you know,
idiots.
you know, if they're, who the
And
fuck
we
wants to
are
listen to what they
idiots.
have to
Yeah,
say?
we-
100%.
There's such a liberating thing in being like, yeah, I don't fucking
100%.
know.
Exactly.
So that's, I think, my reflection on my podcast was like, one of the things I'm most proud of myself, humbly. Not that it's like,
Dude, it's good to be proud of yourself.
it's I'm putting
Own it.
myself out
Own it.
there.
Yeah.
And this is the first time.
Was that a question or a statement?
No, I'm thinking about the thing I was going to say next. I'm putting myself out there. It's the first time in my life I've taken accountability in my own name.
Yeah.
From a business perspective. So whether the podcast is the ultimate avenue I take, or it's real estate, or it's e-commerce, whatever it is,
Creates a hard feedback loop in your own fucking mind.
But
Right.
it's like, hey, I'm trying this.
I'm
trying
trying
to do
something.
this. I would like it to work out for me.
right.
You know?
And there's like a famous quote. It's like, it's basically, it's very easy to eat popcorn in the stands, but like to be out there on the field doing shit, like that's where the real work is done. So I think it was more of a reflection. And when I thought about you guys, it's like you guys have been doing this for 10 years, so it's sort of organic to you, but it's like it's very liberating, and I think it's very important for my long-term trajectory.
Yeah.
As like
The first
a
one's
entrepreneur.
the hardest.
Yeah.
Too. Like it was easier for us because we were like the first thing that we did. It was a big success, and like people called us really stupid.
Yeah.
But like very quickly we had success. We could be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Like you're an idiot, actually. So that helped out because it allowed us like the first step, of building that courage in this category. Was
And then to be wrong
success.
and know that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. That then being wrong at the end of it actually helped as well.
Or like, you could perceive whatever. And then realizing it just does not matter.
I'm much more comfortable with myself, I think, too.
Right.
Like, and I think
sure.
you guys have had that for a while. And I think
I
as
just restarted that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been building a business, but I've been totally hidden in it.
Yeah.
For the exact reason as it's easier to eat popcorn in the stands.
Yeah.
I needed to just eat popcorn in the stands for
Yeah.
a little bit. But now that I'm back on like posting like videos and stuff, like I for sure feel it, and I like it. I love the feeling. You know, when people are like, what's interesting to me is almost everybody who's talked shit so far, I've commented back with. If it's not just blatantly dumb and like this person's just here to be like a moron, and they'll be like, oh wow, that response was amazing, you just gotta follow, or like
I saw
or
that,
like
yeah.
like multiple times, literally not one time, like literally multiple different people have said something negative to me. I'm like, I understand your perspective, you're right. And then they're like, oh my god, wow, one guy was like, faith in humanity restored, here's a follow, or something like that, like because he was a dick and I was just nice, and I get a rise out of that, I get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Awesome. Real quick too, there's this one 50 Cent quote we used to say all the time when we had to first take that leap of courage.
Rich or die trying. Just kidding.
He was in this interview and he was like, yeah, a lot of times people look at me and they perceive me as extremely arrogant because I'm really confident in the things that I do and because I like the things that I do well and I'm not afraid to talk about the things that I do well and I'm not afraid to be proud of myself. It's like, but what other people mistake as arrogance for me is just confidence because I don't have people around me telling me that I can do it. So I have to tell myself. I have to be my own cheerleader and like
talk yourself into it.
Exactly. So I just wanted to say that because it is difficult doing your first thing where you put yourself out there and like you want it to do well and you want it to work. So own that shit where it's like, yeah, something that I did that I'm really proud of that I think I do really well is this.
Yeah.
It's important.
No, I appreciate that. And I think it's just being comfortable with failure and to have big success. You have to have big risks and you have to be willing to put yourself out there and to fail. And I think our society,
and if you fail, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, it's good shit. Yeggs, you want to do your tweet storm? Are you ready?
I don't
Hold on.
remember
Can we
what
stay
that
on this
was.
point
Yeah.
for a second?
Yeah.
What was I just about to say?
Something good. I could tell.
It's definitely gonna be
something
good.
real good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was on failure. So, like, you can fail, you can lose people's money. Naval says this.
Yeah.
And it's like, unless, like, you, like, do something blatantly bad, where, like, you act 100%
immoral, you're saying?
out of integrity, or, like, you do something immoral publicly, you can recover because people will hear, like, oh, this is what happened. You know, we gave this guy $10 million. It didn't go to plan, but that happens. You know, and then like that person can come back up and be like, hey, this is what happened. You know, I thought I was going to be able to take this 10 million and do this with it. And it didn't end up working. And, you know, investors have like insurance or whatever. Probably. I don't fucking know. Maybe not. I'm not an investor. That would suck. I wouldn't lose $10 million.
Who's issuing investor insurance?
Oh my God. But yeah, you get the point. You know,
I think
and people are so afraid to fail. You know, it's like people think that like you're not the things that you do. You know what I mean? The things that you do. And then what's really interesting. Oh, I remember what it was now.
Nice. Here we go.
So you were talking about how like you were like, I want to have accountability. Something that was really interesting because I convince myself of things, right? And I'm good at it. And I can convince other people of things. It's selling, right? Sales, selling. I'm reading Jeff Bezos' letter to shareholders, and I just started seeing like how often he says we had to be able to convince ourselves that. And how like I think you need to be able to. So it's like if you get the data, you need to have the capacity to sell and convince yourself on the trajectory you're going because of what you're thinking, and then things fall into place. Like it's like a magnet. Like if you have, you know, your own internal compass aligned, it's on, you're thinking through facts, you're thinking through opportunity, you're thinking through, you know, whatever it is, then, and it checks out and you convince yourself of the thing. Now you're able to convince other people of the thing. And then all of a sudden it comes in, right? And then like people join you and you're like magnetic and like, oh my God, people want to work with you, whatever. You need to have the courage to, if you feel like you've convinced yourself of something, to convince yourself of something. And then understand that even if you're wrong, if you're not immoral, you're going to be able to recover. So you can still have that conviction.
I think that's a prerequisite. Like you actually have to convince yourself first before you even go out there and try to convince other people.
Well, and it is, I agree, to be successful. Yeah. But where most people are is they're like halfway convinced. So it's like they're not convinced and like, oh, why isn't this catching traction? It's like, dude, because you're like 30% of the way there yourself. Yeah. Like you haven't walked yourself through the door yet. Like,
well, it takes conviction to take a stance.
Right.
Because you're taking a stance. You're saying, hey, this is what I think. And if this doesn't happen, then I am wrong.
Right.
You know, and sometimes that's difficult to do.
Yep. Until you've been wrong. And then you realize it doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
Right.
Which is so liberating and freeing, by the way. Like I didn't operate that way for a long time. So I'm fucking thrilled about that like frame. That understanding. You know?
I think what Naval says is you basically just have to avoid an orange jumpsuit, I think is what he says.
Right.
Like and then the other thing is there's a Tim Ferriss quote where he says, in the United States today, like what is the worst? Like Jaeger, if your business fails, like you're gonna be okay. Like it's not ideal, but like the downside, it's like ROI. The
His
upside.
business isn't gonna fucking. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Like the upside, potential upside, right? You become this famous real estate investor, or
Well,
not?
I'm not
like,
famous.
Well, or the downside is what? Like,
Yeah.
it's so low, and that the
Secretly,
risk was-
Jaeger actually wants to be famous.
No, I agree, dude. I think he's got.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
hit me
baby. Someone can see through the lines.
I'm making money.
We know what that means.
I'm buying a plot of
Yo,
land.
boy, is that
and you're not
thought
invited.
deeply hidden.
you-
Deeply hidden.
Like into the mountains or some shit like that.
like
Or-
Yellowstone. Like I'm gonna recreate Yellowstone.
After he's become so famous that he can't handle it anymore.
What's your number? What's your number? Yeah, it's like 50 mil.
I don't have a number.
You don't have a number.
It's a fame level.
Yeah, I have a follower number. That's what I want to hit.
Um,
Find me on Instagram. Just
At
kidding. I don't fucking have one.
27.
yeah. Do you want to do anything else on that one, or do you want to do a tweet storm segment? New segment.
No, I agree with everything Luke said there, and I think it's important.
It was
I think-
really
I think
no.
that's
It's really
a-
well said.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's like a
Connor, let's cut this up.
big thing.
Real.
Yeah. But I don't remember what that tweet storm was. I remember sending it and being like, "Yo, we should talk about this."
Yeah. So the idea for the listeners, or viewers, was we're gonna do a new segment on a tweet storm. I think, and Jaeger had a tweet. So
Jaeger had the tweet, so we didn't fucking bring it.
I thought it was clear. Let me see. And
This is why you're so helpful.
high level agenda number 5: tweet storm segment parentheses
Jaeger.
Jaeger.
Shit.
Fucking guy
Yeah,
didn't.
that's my bad.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Can
I don't have my phone, but what in the group chat I sent it. I remember he just basically went through a few different
let me see if I can find
little
it.
axioms that he put out there that were, I thought,
Who?
really Naval, and I just thought it was really one of those like profound things that was like so simple.
Something profound.
Whoa, nice.
Wow.
Something. There's a lot in
You
here.
want to call our podcast that?
You guys.
If anyone's watching this, give us names. Like we don't really know what
Something
to call it.
profound.
Oh, selfish morality. Let's say we need like a Jamie, like to pull it up. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
selfish. Let's see how many tweets is this?
We need a Jamie. If you're
just
out
the
there.
first couple, dude. I mean,
It's just okay. I'll read the first couple. This is from Naval, whom we all love. The selfish morality. A thread. The selfish reason to be honest is to clear the mind of exhausting lies and to navigate towards people and situations where you can be completely authentic. I'll read
All
2
right,
or 3.
just-
Okay.
and then like just let's hit on that.
Okay.
Let's
Beautiful.
Think about that. Think about like what he's actually saying.
Yeah.
He's not saying you need this crazy altruistic reason where you're trying to save the world and
Yeah.
make the world a better place for you to be honest. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, let's think about this from a selfish perspective, from a utilitarian perspective. What's the utility for you of you being honest?
Yeah.
And it's like you clear your head of all the bullshit trying to keep track of like all these different stories that you have with different people in your
Yeah.
life. And now you have the mental clarity and the space to be able to create anew and create real and create authentic, which is, I think, a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
That's why I like the
100p.
free markets so much. And I believe in it so much is because I think, like you mentioned before, aligning incentives.
Yeah.
Like that message to me is more powerful than the message that says, hey, you should be honest because it's,
Helpful.
well, no, the message that says like, oh, you should be honest because it's not good to be dishonest to other people. You could potentially hurt someone else's feelings. That's true, and that is a good reason to be honest. But I think it's a more powerful message to say, hey, you should actually be honest because for yourself, it's going to help you to clear out all of this shit in your head that's doing nothing but holding you back.
Hundo P.
What's the next one?
The selfish reason to love is that it feels better to be in love than to be loved, in parentheses, but don't expect much back.
Yup.
So that one, same thing.
Whoa, what the fuck? I'm up, dude.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Do you want me, the next like 3 are sort of, do you want to pause again each, or do you want me to read the next couple?
Each of these, the reason why I liked it is because I thought they were each really simple.
It was Luke's turn.
No,
but I
he's
did,
good. He's
Yeah,
good.
you were looking at
I
me.
did look,
dude.
that's my fault as the moderator. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, my point was just gonna be I like these just because they're really simple and it's something that is extremely profound.
Yeah.
But it's very simple. He doesn't use these like big flowering language. It's not a full paragraph. It's a sentence.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, holy shit,
Duh.
really dope. But you can talk on the actual context.
No, I agree 100%. Context, yeah. I think loving is fucking what makes the world go round. And
As a
Yeah.
verb, not a noun, right? Like
Love.
the verb.
Love
the
is a
verb. I
verb,
think
not a
that's what
noun.
he's saying,
Yeah.
right? Like love, to give love.
To give love,
As a
loving,
verb. Yeah.
loving,
Yeah.
loving.
It-
Same thing.
Which is nice.
Seven
Yeah.
Habits of Highly Effective People. They talk about this a lot, and like Covey is the author is giving advice to like a friend, and he's like, the guy's like, I don't love her anymore, and Covey's like, well, you should love her.
Right.
Like, and he's like, what do you mean? Like, I don't love her anymore. It's like, no, you're not getting the point. Like, love is a verb.
Love
It's,
her.
not, it's
Yeah.
not a noun.
Yeah.
The self
And love is infinite. That's something that I realized like fucking 2 years ago.
Like the more you give, then the more energy you get to give more.
It
It's not like
doesn't-
a depleting asset.
It doesn't run out.
Yeah.
And then I think like what I'm starting to reach now by reading actually The Weight of Love. I've been reading The Weight of Love very often. And have you ever read The Weight of Love?
Nah.
It's the best book
You
I
didn't
think
gift
of
it
all
to
time.
him?
I'll gift it to you.
Yeah,
after
Luke's
this.
been gifting that one a lot. He gifted
my
it to
favorite
me, and it was
book.
the perfect time in my life for me to get it. It was pretty wild.
I'm gonna gift you
Yeah.
guys a book. We should do. We maybe
Oh,
that
let's
could be
do a
se-
book gift
Let's do a book
exchange.
gift. No, I actually think that's a good
Love
segment.
that.
Like, yeah.
let's do that. And then we have to read the book, and then we'll talk about the books that we were gifted next time.
Yeah. But this book is unbelievable.
You want to do it like this? Like you gift Alex, you gift me, I'll gift you.
Yeah, that works.
Sweet.
Or else,
But then we
could
need to
gift
reverse
everyone.
it because
Yeah, yeah,
then, yeah.
Like, I'll buy a book for you and a book for you.
Oh yeah,
That's a better idea.
That's a better idea.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the idea, though. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
And then like on the idea of love, like separating love and attachment. I think that's very huge. Where it's like don't have expectation. I think that's something I'm just starting to like figure out and understand, and it makes loving a lot easier.
Do you mean that like in like the way of like loving for the sake of giving love and not expecting anything back? Like so you're not like trying to like trick someone like, oh, I'm gonna love you so that like hopefully later I'll get some love back.
No, it's more like attachment. So like attachment is like I feel like I need this thing or person. Right. So it's loving from a place of like I just love you as you are. Here, I'll read the line. It's so fucking beautiful.
From Anthony DeMello?
Yeah. Hold on one second. It's just fucking unbelievable.
Let me see if there's anything else in here while Luke is pulling that up. No, there's a good. This is a good tweet storm.
Yeah. Solid, right?
The selfish reason to be ethical is that it attracts the other ethical people in the network. To me, that's a good one too.
Awesome. And it's like, I don't know, for me that, like I think in the beginning of my career, I would have done a good business deal with someone I didn't think was a good business partner. Now the good business partner is a prerequisite to me getting involved in the deal. I even if it's the best deal in the world, if it's a bad business partner, I wouldn't do it.
I agree with that 100%.
One of my favorite Navalisms. I suggested for the viewers. I said it should just be a Naval segment, but
We could do a Naval podcast. We for sure could.
There's so much there. Is
Yeah.
like play long-term games with long-term people, and I think that's so true. Like especially in the world that you guys operate in, like it's all relationships, and you don't want to work with someone that's unethical. Like so.
Totally.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
God, it's hard to not read the whole chapter because this book is so fucking good. But pause now to ask yourself, and this is about attachment, if it's worth paying so much for so little. Imagine you say to this person whose special love you want, leave me free to be myself, to think my thoughts, to indulge my taste, to follow my inclination, to behave in ways that I decide are to my liking. The moment you say those words, you will understand what you are asking for is impossible. To ask to be special to someone means essentially to be bound to the task of making yourself pleasing to this person, and therefore to lose your freedom. Take all the time you need to realize this. Maybe now you're ready to say, I'd rather have my freedom than your love. If you could either have company in prison or walk the earth in freedom all alone, which would you choose? Now say to this person, I leave you free to be yourself, to think your thoughts, to indulge your taste, follow your inclinations, behave in any way that you decide is to your liking. The moment you say that, you will observe one of two things. Either your heart will resist those words, and you will be exposed for the clinger and exploiter that you are. So now is the time to examine your false belief that without this person you cannot live or cannot be happy. Or your heart will pronounce the words sincerely, and in that very instant all control, manipulation, exploitation, possessiveness, jealousy will drop. I leave you free to be yourself, to think your thoughts, indulge your tastes, follow your inclinations, behave in ways that you decide are to your liking. Boom!
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's
Do you go there? Like, can you get down with that kind of stuff?
No, I can.
A little hard.
I can. I think to me, it's very relationship-ish, which is how I think it would actually be cool to talk about.
Are you in a relationship?
I'm not.
Have you been?
Not really.
Okay.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, I think not today.
Let's dive into
Isn't that deep for you?
Yeah, no,
Like
I love
that is so fucking beautiful to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, my God.
Honestly, the really easy way for me to like really relate to that is when I think about like the love that my mom and myself have
Right.
for each other. Because
Unconditional.
exactly. That's the word I was just going to use because it's such an unconditional nature of it.
I don't
Like,
care what
no
you
matter
do.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like no matter what, I love her. She's going to love me. We are fully unconditionally there for each other. There's no exploitation like he was mentioning. I'm not doing this for that. There is no this for that. It's this for the sake of this because I feel this. I'm giving you this.
Yeah.
It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that, no ulterior motives. Let me just see if there's anything else.
Dang, if that came off, there's just a second tweet and there's a tweet storm, we might have to fucking just think about the theme of this, which is like being selfish is okay.
Yeah. No,
He's
saying
breaking
that
down all the ways that
he was talking about giving that love as a selfish thing.
Right.
Like
And that's what I'm saying. Being selfish is okay.
Oh, you're not like going against it.
No. See, I actually think people shy away from like the reality that everyone's fucking selfish.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break.
Yo, do you remember that book I gave you called
Selfish
Atlas
Gene?
Shrugged?
Atlas Shrugged, yeah.
It's the first time I heard that concept of Ayn Rand. She talked about the virtue of selfishness.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I heard that concept. And there's a lot of debate to be had about like her version of that. But I just thought it was such a powerful idea.
Yeah.
Not this fake humility, fake altruism. It's like, hey, let's just be honest about this. Let's talk about how you can use selfishness to not only your own benefit, it's going to end up benefiting other people. But let's just look at it for your benefit right now.
100%.
Pretty cool.
100%. Like, I want to get down with people that are like, this is what I want out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's not like pussyfoot around.
100%.
Like, if we're doing a deal together, how are you going to make money?
Yeah.
Because the way people operate is they have all these hidden motives. They have these hidden agendas in between the dynamic. And like, if you can just surface all of this stuff, all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is very easy to understand. Like, we can sit here and really figure things out a lot faster because there's not these fucking hidden things going on. You know, so
Totally.
I think that it's like probably stems out of this whole wokeism thing where like people need to be okay asking for what the fuck they want, telling people what they want, and then even just being honest with themselves. Like, this is what I want.
I think that's where people don't get past that.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
I want this.
Yourself.
I can't, I shouldn't want this.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It's like,
right. I think
I'm a
people
bad
trick
person
themselves-
because I want to like be rich or,
Exactly.
you know, I want to fucking make money like doing this business or like,
and then they're not honest with themselves. So they can't be honest with other people.
Right.
Inherently.
right. And then what's beautiful is you start to just tell people what you want, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're like, oh my God, like
And you
there's
get what you
people that
want.
will give me what I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and if they don't give you what you want, then you don't.
It's
like,
in good faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we found that out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you can go your separate ways.
Right.
Anything else? I think the tweet source segment outside of the preparation went pretty well. Went pretty well. What do you guys think?
I'll do better next time. I'll do better next time.
Preparation.
So we have one more topic. I'm scared to even mention this because I'm having so much fun to introduce another topic. Do we want to go to Roe v. Wade or no? You don't want to go there. Let's
piss some people off.
let's do.
I don't fucking.
Let's do the barstool drama, and then if
Okay.
we want to go to,
I'm gonna pee real quick. You guys.
I got to
you
pee
guys-
too. Let's do a pee break.
Oh, pee break.
Yeah,
Okay.
pee break.
Pee break.
Joseph was watching last week. He's like, dude, the pee break was hilarious. I love it. See, this is where
People like pee break.
this is where Jamie's just cuts it.
Yeah.
This thing's still running. I think they've had enough. All right, thank you for watching, everybody. And now, share. Do we want this to go live? No. We'll just. Oh, I gotta pee like a motherfucker before I can figure that out.
Wow. Ba-dum-bum. Still clean shots. That's good. Fucking tearing this thing up. We are tearing this thing up.
Oh yeah, dude. Laugh on me.
I know. Idiot. You have anything to do after this? Let's drink some beer.
Yeah, I'm down. Ty just asked them home at 5. It's 3. He needs to run somewhere with the car.
What's he need?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna get a motorcycle.
5. That's not a lot. That's not enough. Oh, dude, 110 people watched that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's way more than I thought.
Yeah.
Damn. Kind of cool.
Oh, dude, that toilet is so fucking gross in there. You just went in there.
So did I.
Oh, fucking.
Oh man, it was just nasty. This is horrible. I'm judging you.
I'm judging myself. Miller, would you have a beer?
After this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have one. I gotta
He's really
walk.
testing that social.
I gotta walk my dog, but I'll have a beer with you guys.
You have a dog?
My parents are out of town, so I gotta watch
gotcha.
the.
Gotcha.
Can you
I'm hungry. I'm big hungry. I didn't even eat lunch.
I'm actually starving too.
Yeah, I'm hungry too.
Let's get some food and a beer.
That sounds good.
Okay, so maybe that's a good excuse to skip the topic that will definitely get me fired. Although I think what I would say probably wouldn't get me fired. So
Is it fucked up that I can't even? Oh no, I do know what that means. I literally couldn't even pull the. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna fucking incriminate myself. I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
Okay, yeah, I think I actually liked what All In did on it. Like, it's very much a legal matter, so they brought him. Like, that's the thing.
That's
think
how I was going to
Dude,
talk about it.
most boring episode.
I actually thought it was.
I need to remember this is on the internet.
I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, again, to me, it's like you could think whatever you want to think about it, but
it's serious.
it's legal. Like, it's a whether that's right or wrong. Like, I think the framing that people should. At least that's the way I look at it. It's like a legal matter, and then, but maybe we skip over that. So
Yeah, let's skip it.
yeah,
We can do that next time.
So
I don't fucking. None of us are women.
Yeah,
I don't have anything to add to the conversation.
that's why I like how
Came from a woman.
all in. I don't know. All In, I think, did it right. Like, they didn't comment on it a lot, and they just brought lawyers on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is let's not.
Yeah,
talk about
no,
it.
let's not talk about it.
Next time. No, we'll just do it next time.
I'm pro, like, if you're a woman, your body.
Yeah, that's. I think
I love whatever you want.
I agree with that. 100%.
I have no horse in this race.
I agree with you, Luke. Just so my position is clear for my employer.
I do too.
It's like
I do too.
fire
But-
Alex.
That's not what you said before the episode.
Yeah,
I was just kidding.
Yeah.
I do too, but with limits.
Okay. We
We need to cut this guy off.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm
so,
just saying, like the day before your,
It's
due
the
date,
mute,
you
the
should
mute
get
button
that
right
fuck.
there. You just hit the red thing on 3.
I want to
He's
tell you
fucking
guys
toasted.
about the Barstool drama because I think it talks a little bit about like bro code and it's maybe a cool way to end the episode. So, what happened basically is this isn't a pop culture show, but we'll get there for a second. But then I think we
I
could
like touching on it
yeah,
for
and then we could use it to illustrate like
exactly just like I said in our
Yeah,
text
and-
thread. It's like you use the example that everyone knows just as a means of personifying
right.
the ideas that you're talking about.
So the 2-minute background on it is there was someone named Hank who is on Part of My Take. I don't know if you guys like watch the Barstool shows, who was dating a girl named Rhea for like 4 years. So Barstool has a big office. They all like sit there together.
Are you listening, Luke? Because I know.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know the
listening.
Story.
Yeah. So they were dating for 4 years. They broke up right? Rhea broke up with Hank. 4 months later, Rhea was dating someone else at the office. Now, Hank and the guy Marty aren't that close, so they're like acquaintances. But like Dave Portnoy came to the guy Hank's defense. He's basically like, look, like we're basically going to fire you like once your contract ends up. So I think the things I like to ask you about are like sort of overall bro codes. Like, would you date? I think it's an acquaintance. Then you can talk about like, I think we would all agree if it was a close friend of yours, you probably wouldn't date their ex-girlfriend. Is that a fair thing to say?
That's fair.
But then like acquaintance, I think there's probably a gray area, like how close they are. And then also, what do you guys think about like coming to your bro's defense, but it's sort of like professional too. So he's literally going to probably like lose his job over it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that
Let's remove it from like this situation
Yeah.
because I could give a fuck about this whole Barstool drama thing. But let's talk about just bro code and like relationships.
that's where I was gonna go with
Yeah.
it. Like for me personally, there's a lot of women out there. So if I know someone that dated a girl, I usually
You took Danny from me.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
I swear to God.
wait, so tell me, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is.
I was like, yo, this girl's beautiful. And then like fucking a week later, Jaeger's like, yeah, we hooked up. But it was.
But here's how I handled it, right? So I first of all, we hooked up like drunk. I didn't mean to do that, but at that point I knew I wanted to hook up with her, so I was gonna call you and be like, hey, just so you know, I actually like this girl and I want to date her.
Yeah.
And then, what are your thoughts on that? I want to give you the opportunity to like voice any concerns or
Yeah,
opinions
that's
before
how I
do
would
that.
handle it as well.
But I accidentally hooked up with her before I did that. But then what I did is the next day I called you and I was like, yo, I gotta let you know that this happened or whatever.
But did you say like were you?
I didn't think about it that much. What was my response? I literally don't.
You were
remember.
like, oh, dude, like 'cause once you made a joke and then you saw I was serious, like, oh, dude, I don't care at all. Like,
yeah,
do your thing. Like, I'm happy for you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But my point is,
and it was not like we were like. It's not like it was like a deep relationship with this person.
Yeah,
whereas
yeah.
like, yeah.
No, but my point was just going to be if I know someone that someone else has dated, I tend to stay away.
Yeah.
Unless it's a situation where I'm like, wow, this is actually could be like a real thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not trying to like hook up with anyone that I know other like my friends have dated. I have zero interest in that. There's a lot of girls out there in the world that are beautiful, smart, competent, and cool.
Yeah. It's a
but if
weird situation.
Yeah, but if it's something where I'm like, yo, this could be like end game, then yeah, I'm not gonna give that up.
Right. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, if a friend approached me and was like, yo, you used to date this chick, like I really feel something, I think it's real, I want to pursue it. I'm an asshole in my opinion if I'm like, yo, no.
Yeah, that goes back to that line. Like you're free to do what you want,
100%.
indulge in your things, and
Exactly.
it's like.
So
Yeah.
where this dude maybe went wrong is like,
I
if
bet
I was
you.
him, I would just bring it out in the open and I would be open
Right,
about
right.
it. And I would say to this other dude, like, honestly, I probably wouldn't ask for permission or maybe like probably not even a blessing, but I would just let him know what I was going to do before I did it and give him an opportunity to voice any concerns or feelings about it.
Yeah, and then knowing Dave Portnoy, like that guy's pretty straightforward. So like most likely it's because the dude was like a slime ball and like having an affair for a bunch of time.
So that's another question,
You know?
right? Is like, when does it start?
Right.
Like, the nature of these things matter.
That's the thing. There was
Right.
some question around timeline. Then also, I think how it came out in public was
Bro code is bro code.
Bro code is
G
bro code.
code's not hard to understand. Not hard to understand. G code is not hard to understand.
Yeah.
Look out, be honest.
Yeah.
That's it.
Be transparent,
Yeah.
be open.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you violate that,
Agreed.
you're violating the G code.
Yo, and like also you have to be like, let's say I'm in a position where I want to date someone's ex and I approach them and I say, hey, listen, I want to go do this. I only do that if I'm prepared for them to say no and me to lose that friend.
Yeah.
Because I think it could be end game, in which case, okay,
If it's
more power.
endgame, yeah.
Right.
More power to you to do that.
Right.
And in
Right.
fairness to the couple at bar, and I know we're sort of taking ourselves, they're saying it is endgame. And I think to the point about being straightforward, I think the reason why it went viral is there was a video of them or a photo of them together, like being coupley. And I don't think everyone knew. So there was definitely some back channeling. So I was thinking about it from Portnoy's perspective. Like I respect, like he's really going to bat for his bro. I don't know if Hank told him like, hey, fire this guy. but like he's very loyal, and I think that's also a good trait to have. Like
You know what's going on in this bar?
dude, I couldn't fall asleep on Wednesday, and I will openly admit at 2 a.m. I put on a podcast that was an hour and a half exclusively about the drama. Like,
Oh my gosh.
So you know what's going on.
so that was a low point for me, but all right. Anything else, guys, for today? I think this is really fun, though.
Solid. Had a great time.
Yeah, very solid. It's,
I think we keep up the every other Saturday.
no, dude, every fucking Saturday.
This fucking guy.
You guys are such pussies. What's
wanted
the
to do
fucking hesitation?
Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro, every day leading up to, he's like, "Yo, what about tonight?"
I like doing this,
I
man.
respect his
me
energy.
too.
I respect
Yeah,
his energy.
fucking. He's like, what the fuck? I'm like, I got fucking enthusiasm. What's wrong with that?
No,
Like,
I
let's
respect
fucking
it.
go.
Like, I think it's good.
Let's go. So every week,
I'm just excited.
show me the respect with activity.
Once I have the Philly studio up, we're doing it there.
That's fine.
How far out's that? Philly studio.
Where are you coming from?
Philly.
Oh no, like
Today you came from Philly.
like
Yeah.
what?
You did?
Yeah, but
Woo!
where like when will it be ready?
5 months, 6
Okay.
months. Yeah.
So let's just do every week. That means we'll have 20 more episodes, and then we have a little convertible.
What do you guys want to call this?
Fuck, I was thinking
situation?
about moving to Florida, and fuck, now I'm gonna have to
Can't,
stay
bro,
here in this
sorry.
shit. We're gonna be millions of views.
I am. I'm.
Dude, I had some reels that like my reel shit's starting to catch traction.
Yeah.
All organic.
Should do it on
25,
TikTok.
30,000 views. Fucking
do it on
followings
TikTok.
growing. Yeah, I know. That's something I'm working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good
All right,
shit,
let's
boys.
wrap this up.
All right, yeah.
Bang,
Love it.
bang. Thank you for watching. Well done.
All right, let's
Miller.
drink some beers and figure out a name.
Yeah, here, Miller.
Oh yeah,
Good
shit,
job.
guys. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun as shit.
That's why I was like trying to think about adding another topic, but I was like,
Dude, I'm hungry.
dude, I'm starving.
I'm gonna pass out hungry.
Or yo, I'll get the studio in Florida, and then you guys can come down twice a month in the winter. And
Well, I was gonna say is we're releasing a mail campaign next week, and like 70% of it's Florida, so we're trying to buy something.
oh really?
Yeah.
So you'll be down there a lot anyway.
Not a lot, maybe once a month.
Jaeger's also down for a virtual format.